Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Manchester United versus Bournemouth this Saturday lunchtime. We've got all the latest Manchester United news for you and we'll be previewing the game against Bournemouth. As you can see to my left, that's my predicted lineup for the team. It's expected that Lukaku will start in this game. What are your thoughts on that? Also, we spoke to Red and Black TV, which is a YouTube channel for Bournemouth. It's great that so many clubs in the Premier League now do have YouTube channels. Obviously, over the previous weeks, we've had Newcastle, we've had Wolves, we had Everton last week. He was going to be on tonight, but he couldn't. So he has sent us a bit of a summary about what Bournemouth are all about. And in a sentence, really, they play a 4-4-2. Obviously, one of their forwards sort of drops back a bit, but they do play a 4-4-2. He says, what's changed with Bournemouth? Last time Bournemouth lost at Bournemouth was against us last season in April when we beat them 2-0. But he says this season they're not so much a possession team. They move the ball a lot quicker from back to front, which has seen them double the amount of chances they're creating. They don't concede many. Their weak spot is probably Simon Francis, but he's not expected to play anyway. He also said the one player that he fears is Martial. Surprise, surprise. It's amazing how many people say that. But it feels that Wilson and Joshua King, if fit up front, will cause our centre-backs problems, and they like to use the width and press. So on paper, it is a tough game for United. Having said that, they've only played one of the top 6 sides so far. Very, very good form for Bournemouth. They are ahead of us in the league as well. I think if we beat them, we can go above them on goal difference. But it is a test for United on Saturday, and it's certainly one that I'm looking forward to. I think there was some momentum to take from that Everton game, and I do think when you look at that predicted lineup there, he's got to play Fred, and he's got to play Martial, and he's got to play Mata. Lingard's back. People are saying Lingard's pushing for a first start to come back straight back into their team. I personally don't think the winning team should be changed. I don't think Lukaku should play up front. I don't know what you lot think. I don't think Lukaku should play up front. I mean, Jim Bolly says, I've got a good feeling we're going to score 2-3 plus. I think we're going to win the game as well, Jim. I'll talk about that in a bit. But I don't think that Romelu Lukaku should be coming back into the team. But the reason I think he will do, and I think it'll be interesting tomorrow, Jose Mourinho's press conference is at 10 a.m, so it'll be an early start for us tomorrow when we do the reaction to his press conference. It'll be around 20 past 10 by the time we go live. But I expect him to give Lukaku a vote of confidence and say he's going to pick him. As Pat was saying last night, and as I was saying straight after the game, yes, Rashford didn't have a big game but against Everton, but what he did do is he moved their centre-backs around, and we weren't static and slow up front with a sponge wall bouncing off it God knows where, and the turning speed of a combine harvester with no wheels, and that's what you get with Lukaku at the moment. But Jose, I think it was the most reluctant dropping of a player I've ever seen. Yes, Lukaku was dropped against Everton, but he couldn't get him on quick enough. I think it was 62 minutes. That's not dropping a player. That's sort of like, it's like, I'm sure he probably said something like, Rom, I really don't want to drop you. I'm just doing it for show. I'll get you on as soon as I can. Because the substitution came way too early. He should have been left out of that game completely. His form is not good enough at the moment. But Jose Mourinho wants to play Lukaku. And I think as soon as we go back to playing Lukaku, unless he suddenly finds some form, and he's not going to find a first touch, that's lost forever. There's no treasure map for Lukaku's first touch. It doesn't exist. So, X does not mark the spot for Lukaku's first touch. It's gone. It's finito. It was never there. It didn't come out at birth. It just never happened. So, unless he finds a first touch, I think when Lukaku comes back into the team, we are going to struggle. Having said that, I think United can beat Bournemouth with Lukaku in the team. Of course I do, because you've got Martial, you've got Pogba, you've got Mata, you've got Fred. And what we do know about Lukaku is if you create chances, he will score. Sayanta says Matic out. Look, I don't know about Matic being out. I'd like to see Pereira coming in or Herrera coming in. But again, he's got his fan club, Mourinho. And Fellaini is in it, Lukaku's in it, and Matic is in it, and they're going to play, aren't they? I wouldn't expect Fellaini or Lingard to come into the team on Saturday. I'd be bloody furious if Mata, Martial or Fred were left out. I don't think he'll do that, but I do think that Lukaku will find his way into the team. I just want to say before I carry on as well, this is really, really important. I've seen a lot of this lately. Before I went live, I saw someone come into the live comments and they said, evening family. I love that. I love that the United Stand is a family. It's a community. We all look out for each other. We all look forward to going live at 8 o'clock and getting involved. And we have created a great community here. But what I have noticed recently is more and more sort of petty arguments. I see it on Twitter, I see it on Instagram, and I see it on the YouTube live comments. People going in on each other. Can I just say to you this? You do not have to agree. You do not have to agree. There's people who are Mourinho in, falling out with people who are Mourinho out. There's people who are Mourinho out, popping off at Mourinho in people. We had Pat on last night. At the moment, he's Mourinho in. A lot of you lot were quite rude and abusive to that. Why? We don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. In life, you will come across people that disagree with you. For example, the best man at my wedding is the godfather to my oldest daughter. best mate, and we're both big United fans. And he said to me, through his Han Solo film came out in May. He said, you've got to go and see it. I didn't like the look of it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't go and see it in the cinema. It came out on DVD. He says, you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it. It's brilliant. I know a lot of people are panning it. The critics are panning it. But I really like it. You're going to love it. So one Sunday afternoon a few weeks ago, I watched it. It was absolute shit. Absolute shit. Now, I didn't ring him up and say, I'm not your friend anymore. Your opinions really worry me. You know, I had you as my best man at my wedding and you're telling me to watch that shit. I've got to reassess my friendship with you because I don't know you anymore, mate. What are you on about? But, you know, you can disagree. I know people who are Mourinho out. I know people who are Mourinho in, and I do respect them. I mean, to be honest with you, I was thinking about having him as my godfather for my youngest lad now, but I can't do that now. You know, who knows where his brain, you know, if he thinks Han Solo's a good film, that's not a very good role model. But we're still friends and we still talk and we're not going to fall out. And that's important. That is important because if someone's Mourinho in, you don't have to fall out with them. You can still be friends with them, and I think that's very important. And I just wanted to say that. Look, we're all part of a community that's called Manchester United. In fact, we've got a lot of people part of this community who probably aren't Manchester United fans, but we should respect each other's opinions. You don't have to have them as your godfather of your kids. Anyway, what I also wanted to talk about was this game, obviously coming up, and it's very interesting that if you look at the league table at the moment and you look at Bournemouth's results, they're doing fantastically well. They're winning a lot of games. They're going through a real renaissance, and I think it's going to be a tough game for us. But I just feel that when you look at the way we are playing, the way we're playing at the moment, we've got a great week coming up. I'm very excited. It's felt like a mini international break. I've got to be honest, because we haven't played since last Sunday. But I think that'll do us good. I mean, Carabao Cup. You know, whether you want to still be in that or not, I think it's done United good to have a week off, and we can take some momentum into a league game. Then we've got Juventus on Wednesday. Then we've got the Manchester derby. So it's going to be very, very exciting times. But when you look at Bournemouth and what they're doing at the moment, I mean, they're on 20 points compared to our 17. So their goal difference is currently they've scored 12, they've conceded 7. We've scored 17 and. We've conceded 17 and that's Watford. We've scored 17, we've conceded 17. Bournemouth have scored 19 and they've conceded 12. So I think there'll be goals in that game. And in their last 4 games, they've won 3 and drawn 1. So they're coming into it with real belief and confidence. And I think that can be something that United can really use to their advantage in this game, because Bournemouth, it's almost a game they can afford to lose. It's a game they can afford to go and have a go at us, because their current league position puts them in, let me just get this right, I don't want to disrespect Bournemouth. So they're 6th at the moment. They're having a nosebleed all over the black and red shirts. They're having a nosebleed. They're on 20 points. Even if we were to beat them, their goal difference 7. And even if we beat Bournemouth, we're not going to go above them unless we beat them 4-0, because even a 3-0 goal swing won't put us above them. So Bournemouth are going to be ahead of us on Saturday night no matter what, unless we beat them by more than 4 goals. So it's a game for... Look, Bournemouth are not going to end up in the Champions League. I'm sorry, Bournemouth. You can take that Goldbridge statement to the bank and you can do what you like with it, because you're not going to get any interest. You are not going to finish in the top 4. You're in 6th place at the moment. That is probably about as high as you're going to get. Remember it when it's May. But, so therefore, I think that plays into Eddie Howe's hands. And I want to talk about Eddie Howe for a moment, because it plays into his hands because he can sort of go, look, we've had a great start to the season. United are coming to town. If we beat them, we go 6 points clear. If we get a draw, it's a great point. We don't have to sit back. We can play our game. We can have a go at them. And if we lose, it's not the end of the world. But that plays into United's hands, because we're going to go against a team that might actually have a go at us, which means if we go and have a go at them, it could be another 3 points, which would be very, very valuable. Very, 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 very valuable for Jose Mourinho. In relation to Eddie Howe, would you take Eddie Howe as manager of Manchester United? Get into the live comments, get in comments below. When he was mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I was like, what are you talking about? But I've got to say, those people who are mentioning him, well done. Have a pat on the back and treat yourself to a sweet or something, because you've done fantastically well there. Because I know about Eddie Howe, I know what he's all about, but I hadn't really taken a massive amount of notice of Bournemouth this season, and there is a big improvement. You know, they play with much more freedom, much more confidence. He is managing a club with very little resources, with the smallest ground in the league. I mean, it's a bloody nightmare to get a ticket for it, because I think their capacity is about 20,000. And they're doing really well and he's playing good football. And I want to champion Eddie Howe just for 20 seconds and say, I want him to get a big job. This is where football's going wrong at the moment. People are moaning today about £300,000 for Raheem Sterling. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of money in football and we've moved away from this promoting real talent within our country, whether it's players like Jadon Sancho having to go to Dortmund. There's talk of Phil Foden leaving now from Man City. We've got Angel Gomez, Tahith Chong. They're not really getting chances at United. I know Tahith Chong's not English, but you know what I mean. Less and less chances for young players in the highest leagues, and that's replicated in the managers. A manager like Eddie Howe should be looking at an Everton job. He should be looking at a Tottenham job. He should be looking at an Arsenal job. Teams that are around the top sort of 8 to 4. And I know Arsenal are doing well at the moment, but they won't do. Whether he can take a Manchester United job, look, I think it's too big for him. To be honest, I think Eddie Howe at Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, probably not. But he definitely deserves to move to the next stage. And for me, that would be an Everton job. Look what Everton did. They've gone for Marco Silva, who managed Watford. I mean, Howe's record is much better than that. And you could almost say the same about Sean Dyche, but I don't really think his football style's great. But Tottenham obviously have got Pochettino at the moment, but if Pochettino left, would they go for Eddie Howe? I would hope so, but I guarantee they probably wouldn't. They'll look for some other foreign manager, because that seems to be the way at the moment, but he certainly does deserve a chance. We need to stop being linked with world-class managers who will probably fail at United. We need Eddie Howe or the Monaco manager that left, says Chris Nduka. I think it's too big a job for Eddie Howe, but I did want to mention him because I think he does deserve a mention. My score prediction, somebody just said there for the weekend. Ryan Curry says their capacity is 12,000. It's got to be bigger than that. Jardimin all day, says Samir. My score prediction is going to be 2-1 United, maybe 3-1. I am confident about this game. I am excited about this game, and I'm looking forward to this game. What does it mean in the bigger context of United and Jose Mourinho? Look, I'm still Jose Mourinho out, and I will still be Jose Mourinho out even if we win the game at the weekend, unless we win 8-0 with scintillating football. But then the big tests for United are not Bournemouth. I think we'll beat Bournemouth. I'll be very happy if we beat Bournemouth, and it will be a step forward on my potential progress towards giving Mourinho another chance. It's a long journey though. This is one step, and we've got to get to, I don't know, I wouldn't say, if it's a staircase and it's got 20 steps, it'll be step 2. So it's still very, very low on my journey back. But the great thing is, if we do beat Bournemouth, and I believe we will beat Bournemouth, he's got Juventus away and Man City away. That is where there'll be nowhere to hide in those games. If he can then go and get results in those games, then that I might move halfway up the staircase. Because that's where United should be gauged. We should not be gauging ourselves, and I'm very, very, very firm on this. Nothing rude. I'm just very, very adamant about this. The United fans were getting excited about beating Everton at home 2-1 when they missed a load of chances, as did we. We should be beating Everton at home. The United fans who get excited if we beat Bournemouth away, we should be beating Bournemouth away. And what I'm saying that is, I don't want to be arrogant, but we are Manchester United. We're the biggest club in the world, and we should be beating those teams. And expectations have dropped so low now that people are starting to think, oh, maybe Mourinho deserves a second chance because we beat Everton, because we might beat Bournemouth. No, that is not where he gets a second chance. He gets a second chance if he goes to Turin and he goes to the Etihad and he gets results there, because that is the benchmark for Manchester United. Results in big games against big teams that we should be going there and expecting to win. And that's where the gauge will be. And the great thing about the Bournemouth game is 3 or 4 days later we play Juventus. 3 or 4 days after that we play Man City. And we'll know what it's all about. Barry Reed says, when are you coming down to Dublin, mate? I will be down. It won't be before Christmas, but I'm definitely going to be coming. Matthew, I hope you don't start Lukaku, says Landes UK. And it's a good Giggs and Carrick. I don't know what we're on about there. So I'm going to go with 3-1. I mean, Andy McGow says Bournemouth capacity is 11,360. I mean, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, Flex and Rants have got tickets. Fair play. It's bloody hard when you're dealing with something like that. Very, very hard indeed. Chuck me some of your questions in. It is the preview, but I think we're in for a good game on Saturday. A Bournemouth player football. What amazes me is, though, and I've said this about Everton last week, is that virtually every preview we do now, it's like every team we play, they play pressing, possession, attacking football. Bournemouth, we're talking about them. That's what they do. A few weeks ago, Wolves, Everton last week, and these are not top sides. These are teams that are sort of like mid-table, some of them mid-table to the bottom half of the table, and they're all playing this brand of football that we don't play. You know, you talk about edge of the seat football. We're toilet seat football. We're going through the motions pragmatically. We need to try and go on the front foot against Bournemouth on Saturday, because I guarantee you, in Juventus we won't. Against in Turin, we're not going to do that. We're going to be back to whatever, and that's where you start to gauge, Jose. It's all fine, well at home playing Fred and Martial and Mata. Do it at Bournemouth, and then do it in Turin, and then do it at the Etihad. Let's start trying to win games, because I was speaking to somebody today and I said, look, you can take I'll come back to that question, Tom, as well. You can take Mourinho, you can back Mourinho, that is your choice, but what you've got to swallow, and to some people it's unedible, it's a big fat brick, is that if Mourinho is successful at United, and it is a very big if, it's a fact. Look at his history, look at his CV, look at what he's all about. If Mourinho is successful at United, it's going to be pragmatic, grinding out 1 or 2-0 wins. And that's what you're going to get. Now, if you want that at United, and that's great. That's fine. But this, I did it. I fell into the trap as well, and I got castigated for it towards the end of last season by a lot of you. I was going, I think Mourinho can change. I think he gets it. I think he understands. But you know what? The longer it goes on, the more you look at it. You're asking a man to do something he's never done in his whole career. He's never been a manager that goes and lets his team run free. He's never been a manager that lets his team press. He's never been a manager that wants his team to play risky football. I mean, Eden Hazard was suppressed by him, and look at, he's considered to be the best player in the world. Look at what he's done with Martial. I mean, I still firmly believe, I don't know what you lot think, I think Martial at the moment, 4 goals in 3 Premier League games, he's basically won us 7 points. He's been amazing. I think if he has one bad half, once Sanchez and Lingard are fit, he'll be out. He'll be out again. Just like Lukaku's going to come in for Rashford. So I don't trust the manager at the moment. I would love to be proved wrong, but I don't at the moment. Would you take Lampard, says Tom? Well, I'll answer that in a minute, but let me just answer this contribution from Shivesh Singh. Thanks for the contribution, Shivesh. Remember, you can do that through the $sign. He says, if we don't play like a championship side against Juventus, he has my backing. Not necessarily a win, but just having a proper go at them. Well, I mean, that game's going to take care of itself, Shivesh. But we certainly need to be going and getting a result in that game. I mean, we've got a little bit lucky that young boys drew with Valencia, so it gives us a little bit of a chance. But we've got to try and get a result against Juventus, because if we can get a draw, it would leave us in a much better position. Nathan Aki is a very good centre-back, Jack Coleman. I think Bournemouth have got a mix of players that not many people will know a lot about, but they're all, they work for each other, they work for Eddie. I mean, they're a success story. They are a success story, and they do very, very well. Mark Willis says you won't beat Man Checkbook City. Look, a lot of people will write us off against City. I never write any team off in a derby. As I said before, I've seen Everton not be as good as Liverpool and beat them many years ago when Liverpool were good, the land before time. I've seen United, when we were very good under Sir Alex, play against poor Man City teams and not win. It's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the derby. I mean, I don't expect us to beat City either. I think they're a good team, but the derby can be a very, very, very weird thing if you don't respect it. Shares Kamath Fitness says, we used to play better away last 2 seasons, this season not so much. I'm somewhat nervous about our chances. Been ages since we had 2 good games, one after the other, but I hope I'm proved wrong. Well, the interesting thing about the last game as well is that we very rarely get United playing for 2 halves, but against Everton, we played well for about 65 minutes until Lukaku came on, then we lost the momentum. Would you take... I've answered that question. Look at Ryan Beales is right. Look at what happened last year. 2-0 down at half time, and City are about to, City, if you speak to City fans, they're still not happy about that last derby, because yes, they were going to win the title. It was inevitable, but they had the opportunity to beat United at their ground and be crowned Premier League champions, and they blew it. And you won't get opportunities like that. It was a freak of nature the way the fixtures ran, that they could have beaten us and 2-0 up, and they lost 3-2. So anything can happen. What's happening with Dalot's transition, says Wayne Mason. He's injured again at the moment. He's injured again at the moment. Mark, when you come into Scotland, says Matthew McFadden. Well, I will come to Scotland, Matthew, because I've never been to Scotland, so I will be coming to Scotland. Next year is a plan to do a little bit of a tour, which reminds me, You've reminded me about this. Remember the 5th of December. No, don't remember that, because it might not be relevant in your country. It's bonfire night in UK on Monday night. But what I want to talk to you about is what we spoke to you about last night with Pat, and that is that we've got the Manchester Munich Memorial Foundation, and we've got tickets on our table up for grabs in our giveaway. Now, this is to do with, obviously, the Busby Babes and the legacy of Manchester United with the Manchester Munich Memorial Foundation. on November the 23rd, there is a gala do at Hotel Football. Now, the United stand has bought a table. Each ticket costs £100. We've got 4 to give away. That's £400. It's our biggest ever giveaway. You will get drinks reception. There's going to be special guests there. It's close to Christmas. There'll be loads of United fans there. So it's going to be a great evening. And if you are a United fan and you want to go, we are giving away 4 tickets to our United stand family. All you need to do is look in the video description. You'll see the link to our Instagram page and my Mark Goldbridge Twitter page. And all you've got to do is go on to my last Twitter post and leave a comment there, or our last Instagram post, and just leave a comment on it. We'll be reading them about why you support Manchester United, where you live, and that will be the entry. And we will pick 4 people because it's easier for us to contact people through Twitter and Instagram than it is on YouTube. So there it is. Alternatively, if you just want to be at the evening, they have still got a few tickets left. So get yourself there. We're going to be there. And if you are there, whether you win it or you buy your own ticket, come over to me on the night. I'll buy you a drink. We'll have a great night on the 23rd. It's going to be a bit of a United stand meet-up with this fantastic evening that the Manchester Munich Foundation has arranged. And also, United play Crystal Palace on the Saturday, so you might be able to, I'm sure you'll be able to sort yourself a ticket out for that. Make a weekend of it. So links are in the video description for that. Get involved. Howard Walter says, I'm low on funds and this is my last $5, so I can't fly over there from the US and do it myself. Next time you see Jose, can you smack him from me? Says Howard Walters. I'm not a man of violence. I'm not a man of violence, Howard, and I wouldn't condone anybody who was. But I sort of do understand your frustration. It'd be interesting to see what Mourinho's got to say in his press conference tomorrow. His first real chat since he won a game. Will we see humble, arrogant, can't be arsed, moody Mourinho? Who knows? But I will be reacting to that. It's 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, so it's an early one. So keep an eye out for that. That will be going up. And Shiraz Kamath Fitness says, why can't we ever keep our defenders fit? It's a great point, Shiraz, and I was thinking about this earlier on today. Rojo's been injured. I think Phil Jones is... I mean, what Phil Jones, if he was an animal, you'd put him down. You know, I don't care how good a cat he is. I don't care if you love him, whatever. He needs putting down in footballing terms. You know, he is injured all the bloody time. He's a waste. I don't care about his, oh, please don't do it. No, get put down. You know, his footballing career is ridiculous. He earns a lot of money out of Manchester United and he spends most of his times on the treatment table. I remember talking about him last year. I think it's like the percentage of games he's missed at United is absolutely abysmal, and we still keep him at the club. Ridiculous. Rojo's been injured a lot. Delot's come in, he's new, he's got injured. You know, the injury record at United, I remember Jose Mourinho coming here and in his first press conference he said, I've got a great record with injuries and I will improve it at United. I fully believed he would do that. But this, to me, proves, because this happened in the last few years of Sir Alex, happened with Moyes, happened with Van Gaal, and now it's happening with Mourinho. There must be something in the water at Carrington, or there must be something very attractive about the treatment table. You know what they need to do? They need to get a couple of ugly blokes in there, and let's see if we can get them out the injury room and back on the training pitch, because so many people are injured at United, especially defenders. It's always our defenders as well. It's the pink boots, Callum THFC. You look like a tin of salmon, you bloody idiot. I can't believe I said that, and I can't believe Soccer AM use it. Not that I'm copyrighting it or anything like that. I can't remember saying a lot of the stuff. Ladios says you need a shave. Thanks, Mum. Pereira for Matic, says Lawrence. I would do that. We do need a good centre-back, Mike, which brings me on to my next point. ESPN sort of contradicting themselves in an article I read today that the Manchester United board are apparently going to veto any further transfers in January. Obviously, we did a video that they were going to give him 100 million. Well, I think it's Rob Dawson with ESPN has said that United are going to veto any transfers in January because they want to restructure the club around transfers with the director of football, and they can't do that during the Mourinho reign. But then later in the article, it says ESPN sources understand that there are transfer funds available if the right player comes up in January. So it's totally contradictory. All I'm going to say is that I think the club would be right to veto Mourinho spending any money in January. I really do. I think if you're not going to give him any in the summer when it's easier to get a player, don't give him any in January where it's desperate. You're not going to get the best sort of players because they won't leave their own clubs, and we could end up with another Alexis Sanchez. Plus, we might have to get rid of Mourinho in May. So I wouldn't give him any money in January anyway, and I won't be moaning about it. I won't be moaning about it at all. I personally think they will do some business because I think we're just a mess at the moment, but I wouldn't. I think it's a bad thing. Andrew Southey says, what's up, chat? Sorry I'm late. And Bailey for Smalling says, Xander Brooks. Look, that's my predicted lineup on the left. I don't think any changes should be made. I think you don't change a winning team. Rashford should play. But I think the only change you might make and will probably make is Lukaku to come in, if I'm absolutely honest with you. Zules says Rashford needs to up his game. Remember when he played with no fear? We need that back. Also, I really want to see Pereira play a full 90 minutes games. I think if you're a Pereira fan, Andres Pereira, you need a new manager at United. I don't think Mourinho's going to use him. I actually feel sorry for Pereira. Brilliant on the US tour. Brilliant on the opening game of the season against Leicester. One mediocre half against Brighton, and we've not seen him since. He should be on loan. He's wasting his career under Jose Mourinho, and that's another reason why I want Mourinho gone. We've got lots of players who should be getting game time. Pereira, Chong, Gomez. These are players that should be getting involved. The people who shouldn't be getting game time are people like Matic, Fellaini, dead wood, who should not be anywhere near the first team. I think Fellaini's 31 this year. I think Matic is 30. We're not winning the title this year, so what are we going to do? You've got to look to the future. And people can say, well, Matic and Fellaini have been good for us this year. Yeah, well, maybe they have done, but we're sick. We're not sixth. I think we're eighth. We're not winning the title this year. So are we going to win it? So what do Matic and Fellaini offer us next year? Because we should be winning titles. We're not going to win a title this year. So you've got to look, what have we got to do to win a title next year? We ain't going to win a title with Matic and Fellaini another year older, even further into their 30s. That's what we should be looking at. I'm all about let's get points on the board. And I'm sure Jose's thinking I can't afford to get rid of these, my children because I want to grind out fourth. But actually, if I was the board of United, I'd be looking at this and going, well, this season's a failure even if we get fourth. We need to be looking at how we change this around. And we've got a lot of players in this club who in a year's time, when we maybe could go for the title, they're going to be a year older. You've got to look, you've got to plan forward. And we've got the players. I mean, look at, as I mentioned, Jadon Sancho, who's gone from Man City to Dortmund, and he's tearing it up, and he's playing for England. I mean, there's not much difference in his age between Gomez and Chong. And he's playing regularly for Dortmund. These lads can play football. They're good talents, but Mourinho won't trust them. I'd love to see Herrera coming in for Matic Naita. I mean, I didn't want Matic in the first place. I think he did all right in the first few months, but he's just not my midfielder. Too many touches, too slow. Simple as that. O'Shane Morgan says we won't win a title with Mourinho, full stop. And Timo Werner says Bradley Tucker. I personally would strike. I would buy a striker. I really would. Remember to smash a like on the video, everybody. Let's see if we can get 500 likes while we are live. Fantastic, everybody tuning in on a Thursday night, live at 8 o'clock every night on the United Stand, of course. Subscribe if you are new. And remember, the link in the video description. You can go to our Instagram page. You can go to my Twitter page. Just go to the last post, reply and say why you support Manchester United and where you live, and you could win one of £400 tickets for November the 23rd, Hotel Football. It's a gala for the Manchester Munich Memorial Foundation. There's going to be special guests there. United Stand have got a table there. It's going to be a great night. Talk United. Bit close to Christmas, a bit of a get-together. And if you want to just make sure you're there anyway, there is a link to actually buy your own tickets. So hopefully a lot of you will be joining us there on the 23rd. But you can also enter the draw as well. Be great, absolutely great, really looking forward to it, so make sure you do, but make sure you only enter if you can make it on the 23rd. Manchester, it's a Friday night, it's at Hotel Football, so do get involved in that. Shiraz Kamath Fitness says Pereira and Marcus would do great at Bournemouth. Pereira should only go on loan in the Premier League so that Jose can watch him and regret. I would agree with that. I'd love Pereira to be at Bournemouth. I think he'd suit them. I'd like Rashford to be at Bournemouth if he was going to go on loan. I'd suit him. Just to say there, Alex442 says Frank Lampard. What would you have Lampard at United? I'd swap Lampard for Mourinho tomorrow, 100%. And I know that's a little bit of a controversial statement, but I've seen enough of what Lampard's doing, and I know it's only 3 months, but in 3 months he's been away to United, he's been away to Chelsea, and he's played them off the park at times. He certainly played us off the park. He's doing very, very well with Derby in the Championship. I think they're in the playoff positions. The Championship is a bloody nightmare. Look at the Wolves manager. He deserves a lot of success, a lot of credit, although he's had a lot of money, because it's a tough league. It's a very, very tough league. And to go and implement the style of football that Lampard is doing there. I mean, I never used to like Lampard at Chelsea. He's a Chelsea legend. Of course I didn't like him. But when I started to like Lampard was when he started doing the punditry. He's a very educated guy. I'd read somewhere before that he's got a very high IQ for a footballer, which doesn't mean a lot. But obviously he is very intelligent. And I like what he's doing with his football team. And I would take someone like that at United tomorrow, because that is the sort of manager you need. He gets it. He knows what it's all about. They're strong defensively. They never stop running. They're good at passing. They're entertaining. And I would swap him. I mean, people who say, why would you want Lampard at United? Because he's a Chelsea legend. We've got Chelsea's most successful legend manager of our club, and he's nowhere near replicating what he did at Chelsea. So of course I would take Lampard. Kai Highwell says, how long before you would give Greenwood a chance? Thanks for the contribution, Kai. Again, I would put Mason Greenwood in the same category as a Gomez or a Chong. I think they should be getting game time, especially a striker. I mean, look, Rashford turned 21 yesterday. Was it 3 years ago? He was making his debut at 18. So strikers can do it. Michael Owen was 17. Age is nothing if you're good enough. It's something if you're Mourinho's your manager, though. He's got no intention of chucking a 17, 18, 19-year-old into his team. He just doesn't do it. It's not going to happen. We haven't got the right manager for that, but we've certainly got some of the young players coming through. Best centre-back partnership in the Premier League, says Alex Perney. Well, I don't really want to talk about rivals, but for me, it would probably be either Liverpool's with Gomez and Van Dijk, or City's, or Spurs. I think they've got really good centre-back pairings there. So, we're one of those three for me. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video. Don't forget, if you want to enter the prize draw to win a ticket on the table, you can do that. Just leave us a message on my Twitter page or the Instagram page. Just go to the most recent one, reply. If you want to buy a ticket for yourself, the link's in the video description as well. Remember, these tickets are going for £100, so we're giving 4 away, so it's quite a big giveaway. To what will probably be our Christmas party, as well as the Manchester Munich Memorial Foundation get-together. Really looking forward to that at Hotel Football. Make sure you enter, but make sure you can go if you're entering, because we only want people who can actually go. And tomorrow morning we'll be live a little bit earlier. We'll be live just after 10 o'clock, because Jose Mourinho is doing an early press conference tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Obviously, we're playing at 12:30 on Saturday. Then it's Juventus on Wednesday. Then it's City the following Sunday. So a big, big week for the United stand and United and all of us. Thanks everyone for watching. Really fast-paced show. Really enjoyed it. I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Drop a like on the way out, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.